At INSOFI, we believe that teaching advanced technologies in a very applied way really changes the world positively. And that was the vision with which we started INSOFI. And from day one, when we started with a faculty from Johns Hopkins and a faculty from Stanford teaching our first batch students, till date, we have invested heavily both in our effort, money, and time to get this top-notch faculty. So with a team of more than 60 members on full-time roles at INSOFI practicing AI and ML, we built a formidable faculty strength within the institute. If you have a clarity of your goal, and if you are working and willing to work really hard for the next 6 months to 1 year, we believe with us you will be able to achieve any goal that you have.
Good evening and a warm welcome to everybody to this session of the Hindu Education Plus webinar on Data Science MBA, Study and Work in USA/Canada. Under the Study Abroad series, today's session is in association with the International School of Engineering, also known as INSOFI, and I'm your host, Shoma Basu. Those joining us today, I'm sure, are well-versed with data science. For the uninitiated, let me tell you that an MBA in data science helps business graduates or professionals to combine their analytical skills and business management knowledge that they acquire through their UG courses. It enables them to convert data analytics into better business decisions and is also a value addition for effective communication for the data scientists who are always eager to crunch numbers. Today's session is for aspirants who are looking at careers with data science as a key component and who wish to go abroad for higher studies and work opportunities. So whether you are a programmer, an analyst, an engineer looking at innovation, data science, artificial intelligence, or machine learning, a master's degree in data science will give you that competitive edge. So aiding thousands of students every year is the International School of Engineering, or INSOFI, that is recognized as Asia's first data science education institute with research and consulting experience. It offers collaborative global programs in data science and business analytics to students from diverse education disciplines and professionals from all walks of life. INSOFI has tie-ups with universities in USA, France, and Canada. And along with your admission letters, they also help and guide you with your post-study work, visas, and job offers. So I would request all our participants today to sit up and listen attentively to all the vital information that our distinguished panelists are going to share with us today. They will help you to understand the process of applying, the timelines, the prerequisites for your applications, the funding available, and much more. And once our theme panelists are done with their presentations, please do post your queries and doubts, which they will be very happy to answer. So I'll also quickly now brief our panelists. So first we go with Dr. Krishnamurthy V. Kolluru, who is the founder and president of Insofi. After graduating from the National Institute of Technology in Trichy, he completed his MS and PhD in Material Science and Engineering from Carnegie Mellon University and worked with the Defense Metallurgical Research Laboratories on various prestigious projects. And that also included one under the guidance of our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And that even won him the Binani Gold Medal. Later, he worked extensively in data science with majority of his work pertaining to mathematical algorithms and pattern extraction. The Analytics India magazine, The Analytics India magazine has ranked him as one of the 10 most prominent analytics academicians in the country today for his transformational and revolutionary concepts in leading edge technologies. Dr. Dakshinamurthy has also helped set up several data science COEs in leading organizations worldwide. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Dakshinamurthy.
Thank you.
Next on our screen is Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, who is the CEO of Soothsayer Analytics, involved in business development and project management activities for 2 decades. He has a vast experience as a software consultant in USA, UK, Germany, and Asia Pacific in analysis, design, development, implementation, and deployment of enterprise business applications for Fortune 500 clients. His responsibilities include defining and executing the company's long-term strategy focused on growth, profitability, customer leadership, and operational excellence. A hearty welcome to you, Mr. Gaurav.
Thank you so much, Ms. Soma.
Our third panelist is Mr. Somagiri Parupalli, who is the Vice President, Business Development and Strategy at Insofi. A certified data scientist and an NSC certified capital market professional, he's an experienced business development professional in the data science industry with skills in analytics, reporting, market research, screening management, and pre-sales. A graduate of Osmania University, he completed his PGDM from Aurora Business School, where he is currently a visiting faculty as well. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Somagiri.
Thank you.
So without wasting further time, because I'm sure all participants are very eager to listen to the various prospects, because studying overseas is, of course, a vast subject as well. So I would hand over to you the platform, Dr. Dakshinamurthy, to give your presentation first.
Thank you.
Most welcome, sir.
Yeah, let me share my screen. And can you confirm that you are able to see my screen?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, thank you. A warm welcome to all. And the way we have structured the presentation, all 3 of us, I will be talking about the Insofi education and the pathway programs, which actually take you to USA, Canada, or France, and help you establish a career in those countries after getting a degree from those countries. And then Gaurav, who is our corporate associate and partner, who has been there for the past 10 years working with Insofi through Soothsayer Analytics, he will talk about how the industry is perceiving these degrees, his personal experience, his requirements for expert data scientists, machine learning engineers, and the work that Soothsayer has been doing. And towards the end, Som ties up these two and explains how Insofi and Soothsayer are able to provide a world-class MBA program that guarantees a job for the meritorious students that we are going to pick, the process and everything. Hopefully, The presentation gives you a very good idea of what we are offering, and we address every question that you have to clarify, and then that enables you to take the right decision. So let me first talk about INSOFI and the education programs that I am talking about. That we are talking about in this session. INSOFI started a decade back as a certificate company in 2011. So we had a postgraduate program in big data analytics. That's what we called it in those days. That was certified by Carnegie Mellon University, that it had the same quality of content and pedagogy as their master's program. So that's how we started our program in 2011. To our delight, within 3 years, we were ranked amongst the top 3 institutes in the world for big data analytics. In fact, we were, for 5 or 6 years in a row, we were the only ones from India to be ranked in that list by CIO.com, a publication from New York. And in 2015, we opened up in Bangalore also with the same program, and started training around 500 to 700 students, engineers, working professionals as data scientists. A major change happened in 2018, where we transformed ourselves from a certificate institute to a company to an education institution offering all kinds of degree programs in association with our global university partners. We started with Rennes School of Business in 2018. And by 2020, we have around 19 programs. We are the only ones in the country in India to offer bachelor's, master's, doctoral program, and executive doctoral program, all in AI and machine learning. We are a specialist institution. Today, we are a global player with 7 universities, 5 of them from USA, Canada, UK, and Europe, 50 plus faculty, 65 plus doctoral students, and 200 master students abroad, and 800 certificate students in India. So we are a AI ML research institution located in India, in Hyderabad and Bangalore, with university partners in all those countries that I mentioned. So a very fruitful decade-long journey that gave us the position of industry leadership in education and research. And that is made possible by our world-class faculty. We today, our faculty, between them, have 75 plus patents. And important points I want to talk about. And currently, I said, 80 plus doctoral students with the latest batch included. It's 80 plus doctoral students. That makes us perhaps one of the largest doctoral program in AI and ML anywhere in the world. 300 plus research papers. We're actively involved in research. Patents and research is a very unique combination. So we do applied work and we publish. So world-class faculty with PhDs from top Indian, European, and American, Canadian universities with active industry consulting, patenting, productizing, and research experience. Coming to these programs, we have established, particularly for MBA education, 3 partners. One partner is in USA, one in Canada, and one in France. The USA partner is Walsh College. This is located in Troy, Michigan, one of the top business schools in the state of Michigan, with 98% employment rate. So one of the things that Walsh College boasts of is Michigan has tremendous requirement for managers in manufacturing. It's world's automobile headquarters, with more than 14,000 companies in Michigan alone, in northern Michigan alone, focusing on automobile or related manufacturing industry. Walsh College has been successful for the past 100 years or so in supplying leaders, managers that lead this industry. And today, one of the biggest requirements of manufacturing industry is Industry 4.0, which should combine all these technologies. So Walsh College partnered with us to create managers who can provide that leadership, the digital technology leadership for the corporates in Michigan. The second one is in Canada, Carleton University, which is one of the top 5 public universities in the world. And in Canada, and amongst the top 100 B schools in the world. A very reputed university with diverse academic programs and with a very strong management school, B school, Sprott School of Business, with the research focus in advanced areas of management. And it is located in Ottawa, which has several industries of Canada and upcoming pleasant, wonderful to live at least during summers kind of a city that helps you establish your career and your global citizenship quickly and fast. And the last one, but not the least, the first associate of ours in terms of universities is Rennes School of Business, located in France, that opens up your opportunities in Europe. There are 150,000 B schools in the world. Only 10% of them are crowned by are accredited by one of the accreditation agencies like ASESB, AMBA, or EQUUS, those 3. Only 10%, that is 15,000. Of them, only 100 schools are triple crowned, which means all 3 of these accreditation agencies have accredited them. Just to give you an example, India has 3 of them: Indian School of Business, IIM Calicut, and IIM Calcutta. Only 3 institutes in India are triple crowned. Rennes School of Business is one of the triple crowned institutes located in France, and with an MS degree, MSc degree in data and business analytics, your career opportunities in Europe open up substantially. So those are our 3 partners for the education programs. How does this pathway work? You have to apply. Of course, we help you in that process to get an admission from one of the partner universities. If it's a France university, Rennes School of Business, a 3-year science and commerce degree is sufficient. Science or commerce degree, BSc or BCom, is sufficient for you to get an admission. If it's a Canadian or a US university partner, Walsh or Carleton, you need to have either a 4-year engineering degree or a science degree, PG degree, which is 5 years for USA, Canada. Other than that, your profile, recommendation letters, an essay talking about why you want to study abroad should all be uploaded. And within a week or 2, you will get the admission from the university. Once you get the admission from the university, the first semester or first term, you study with us. Here, Som is going to explain about the guaranteed job and how Soothsayer interviews you further, but I will not talk much about that. I will only focus on the education part. Gaurav and Som will talk about the career part. So in education, once you get the admission, you do the analytics part of the studies in India. INSOFI teaches you the analytics, AI, machine learning. That's what we are a specialist in. And once you complete it, you fly to that country. This is not an online program. This is for people who want to establish career in respective countries. So you fly to that country and attend classes there and do the management part of the studies in that country. Okay, so whether it's France or USA or Canada, you go there on a student visa. Because at the end of that, you get a MBA degree from that partner university. You will get a certificate from INSOFI, but you get the degree from that university. If you went to Canada, you would get the degree from Carleton University, from USA, Walsh College, and from France, you get from Rennes School of Business. All these are accredited universities, so you get a full-fledged MBA or an MSc degree that's equivalent to it is a US or a Canadian or a French degree, which means you will get the corresponding benefits of work permits. So you will get 1 to 3 years of work permit that you can look for a job, start working in those countries. And this is where we make your life tremendously easy by actually giving you a job, right? If you pass the interview, that is, which my colleagues Gaurav and Som will explain. So apply, get an admission, do the first term in India, do the second and third terms in the respective country that you have chosen, and get the degree from that university, get the work permit, automatic work permit, and apply for a job and get it. Okay, so that is how any of these three pathways work. Now, what are the benefits? There are multiple types of benefits for these programs. Financially, GMAT is waived in all three schools. And in Carleton, there is an additional 10% scholarship for INSOFI students. Most importantly, as you do one semester in India, you roughly save 5 lakhs in accommodation, food, etc., and health insurance, things like that. So compare it to the direct admissions in those schools, you will save, if you include GMAT and everything, 5.5 lakhs in financials alone. Academically, you are going to be taught AI and ML, the business analytics part, by the engineering school, which means the education is going to be much more hands-on, which is INSOFI will teach that part, right? The AI ML. So we know how to make it hands-on. We know how to make it relevant for the corporates. And you, in addition to the degrees that you get, you also get a certificate in analytics that is co-signed by the prestigious Case Western Reserve University and INSOFI. Case Western Reserve University is a top-notch engineering school in USA. So you will have credibility as both technologist, which is evidenced by this certificate, and a manager, which is proven by the MBA degree that is going to be offered by the school there in that respective country. So academically, you are above a normal MBA with all these degrees and certificates. And you will get complete support from us in applying for visa, getting the visa, and we work with 12 partners for education loans. So you will get 100% education loans for the program. And of course, as I mentioned, the guaranteed job after the program. This is unique and I'm not sure whether anywhere else in the country a program like this is available. So we will learn more about it during the next few, during my colleagues' discussion. Right. So there are tremendous benefits for studying through this pathway program. So if you are fresh out of college or a working professional with interest in establishing a career in USA or Canada or France, definitely you should consider these programs. At this point, I hand over the podium to my colleague Gaurav. Soma, can I directly hand Basu? Can I directly hand it over to my colleague, or do you want to?
No, sure, you're most welcome, sir, because we are already through with the introductions. So, Mr. Gaurav, you may please take over.
Yeah, I am stopping sharing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Murthy. Thank you so much, Ms. Basu, for organizing this session. I hope this will be beneficial for everyone. I'll share my screen, and please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, let me put in. Are we good now?
Yes, we can.
The presentation mode. Okay, good. So thank you, Dr. Murthy, for setting up the stage and sharing details about the educational program. Here, I will briefly cover about what we do at Soothsayer and what type of resources we hire at Soothsayer Analytics. So a brief journey about Soothsayer. Soothsayer was incorporated in August of 2014 in Detroit, Michigan. And as Dr. Murthy mentioned earlier, like Detroit is motor capital of the world. So that's where I live. I'm here for past like 21 years now. So it's my second home after India. I have done my education from Devi Ahilya University from Indore. I have done double masters, and then I came to US to work, and then I am doing business for over like 17, 18 years now. So Soothsayer was incorporated in August of 2014. We started our operations in Detroit, Michigan. In December of 2014, we incorporated our office in Columbus, Ohio, which is a neighboring state in the state of Ohio. That's where we got our first client, Wendy's and Abercrombie. That is where they have their headquarters in Columbus in Ohio area. So we got our first client in December of 2014. Then we just started to expand our operations. So here comes in 2018, we got our first client in Europe. That was also our first international client. When I say international client, that means like I consider US as my home, and then I'm calling Europe as my international client. So we started working with a large equipment manufacturing company. They provide equipment for dairy, pharma industry, dairy, and brewery industry. Later in 2019, we started operating out of Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. So we started working with the largest petrochemical company in the world, where we are still working with them for over 2.5 years. So that relationship is continuing. We provide them data science strategy, training, as well as executing multiple projects with them. In April of 2021, which is like last year during COVID time, we incorporated our office in Canada, which is Suture Analytics Canada Limited. So with office in Canada, we are trying to expand our operations in Canada, where we will be setting up the team of data scientists, translators, business analytics people to work for us. That's where, like, the relationship with Insofi will be fruitful, where we have students coming to Carleton. We will be absorbing them to help us work on our projects. A lot of times what happens is when we are executing projects, some of our clients, they don't allow us to offshore to India. So we use our offices here in US as well as in Canada to provide our services to those clients. So at Suture, is a data science company. It's an custom AI. We build custom AI solution. We have more than 150 data scientists, data engineers, UI developers, Tableau developers, etc., working for us across the globe. Currently, we have resources in India, in US, and some in Middle East and Canada. We work with like thousands, like Fortune 1000 clients. I have a separate slide that tells about the client name, but they range in various industries like manufacturing, auto, insurance, retail and supply chain, healthcare. Our main focus is on manufacturing. Since we are based out of Detroit, Michigan, we have a lot of clients that are in manufacturing area. So at Suture, we just don't build an algorithm. We build algorithm and build all the connecting pieces. When I say connecting pieces, that means we have a UI component, we have dashboards, and then we take care of the entire setting up of an entire data layer. So we can help companies build a system and deploy the system. And that is currently being used where companies get anywhere from 10 times to 60, 70 times return of their investment. If you see, like, major focus areas that we handle right now, pattern recognition, which is like deep pattern mining, looking at tens and thousands and terabytes of data, where we can extract some meaningful pattern which can be actionable. Predictive and prescriptive analytics, for example, we are predicting the failure of a machine before it is failing, so that we can alert the plant supervisor so that they can do the planned maintenance, and that saves millions of dollars, even for a minute or two of unplanned shutdown of equipment. We are also into we do a lot of projects in optimization where we optimize the parameters during the manufacturing process, so to improve the yield. For example, we work for an chemical manufacturer where they wanted to minimize the waste and maximize the yield without compromising on the quality. So it sounds like very simple when I say in one line, but it was one of the most complex projects that we have handled, where we were successful in implementing the solution, and the solution is currently being used by the client. We are also good in NLP and text analytics, where we are looking into the raw text and then generating some meaningful dashboards out of that raw text. Computer vision is something like, where we are good at looking at the images and video to come up with, let's say, it is used in the quality inspection. For example, we have implemented solution for a company called Whirlpool. I'm sure you might have heard about it. So they're using it in the inspection of their dishwasher segment. Internet of Things, like, everything that you do in terms of AI machine learning, it's all connected, right? You have your home where you have tens of devices that are connected, emitting a lot of data. So we are good in implementing Internet of Things as well. So we work with the big data, micro data, and unstructured data. So I'll not spend a lot of time on that, but I just wanted to give an overview of what Soothsayer is. So we are a data science company that implement a solution which is owned by the client. So we build custom solution for any given problem. Briefly talking about data science services, as I mentioned about consulting, there are three different segments where we mainly focus. Consulting is where we understand the client need and build a solution for their need. Second is about strategy and advisory, where we create a data science roadmap or digital transformation roadmap, or advise clients about what they should do, what they should not do, how they should create a center of excellence, or create a center of excellence in analytics, how they should create the team. So we help companies to create the strategy, advice, and also architecture. And then ultimately we also help companies to build the solution, so that we can help you guide at the high level where how the strategy should be implemented, and then we also help in implementation. Last but not the least, we are also doing a lot of R&D and joint IP product development. I'll talk briefly about R&D, but we are working on a lot of areas to do some joint R&D. These are the three main focus areas right now, or the product framework that we are building. Energy procurement. This is in partnership with a company in US. It is currently being used, where we are forecasting the demand and also the pricing of when you should procure the energy. US market worked a little differently than what we have in India, but this is one thing which is a joint IP that we have developed. Demand forecasting and price prediction. So here we are forecasting, like we are creating a framework where we are forecasting the demand, and this will be mainly utilized by the manufacturing companies. We have also built the revenue forecasting model, or the framework, based on the forecasting framework that we have, and we implemented at three different clients, three different manufacturing clients as of now. And the third is about the fraud detection, where we are looking at the invoice data and various data that is available in the insurance side, and try to detect the fraud or the invoices that are fake. So that is the third platform that we are currently building on. This is the brief list of our client. You will see a lot of very well-known names. SABIC, the largest petrochemical company, United States Steel, Dove Chemical, second or third largest chemical company in the world, Whirlpool, Owens Corning, so on and so forth. So we are working with various companies across the globe. These are few publications which might help you to learn about what data science is, right? And in more business terms, right? So that is where I would like to connect to what Insofi offers. So at Soothsayer, when we are hiring resources, there are a few types of resources that we will hire. One is a data scientist or data engineers, which we call it as a technical people. Then we also hire partial technical, like techno-functional people who have expertise in let's say data science side of it, but have a good business acumen. That is where the current programs that Dr. Murthy talked about, whether it is at Carleton or Rene or with Walsh, that helps us. So with MBA degree and with technical acumen, this is a unique combination. You can have, I'm not saying MS degree in US or engineers are of no use. You still need that engineering background. But if you have the background in management, like whether it is finance or marketing or any sort of management, that will help you build your career, and you will be more in demand and you will be more hireable when you come to the countries, whether it is in US, Canada, for Europe, or anywhere in the world. So with that, I would take a pause here, and obviously we can take questions later. But all I can say is you're on the right path. I have personally been involved in Walsh College, Carleton, and I have known about Renee. So I know this program is set for your success, and we are here to help you. Whatever we can, we will definitely help. And Som will cover a little bit about the career services and how we will help you once you are in these countries. So with that, I'll take a pause here, and Som, please take it over.
Sure.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Gaurav.
much.
Yeah, Mr. Som.
So I'm assuming my screen is visible and I'm audible. So one of the most important things that we do at INSOFI is we ensure that every single step that a student takes towards progressing in pursuing their career goals in terms of masters or doctoral students or their bachelor's education, we ensure that we look at the entire end-to-end milestone that they plan to achieve. So at INSOFI, it's a master's is a decision that is not something that people can just take like that, because there's so many options in terms of opportunities, different streams, different pathways that they can plan for. So if you start from choosing the right college or try to understand what is the right program based on your background, and then do you have the right financial background in terms of can you get the loan eligibility? Are you really going through the right journey based on your background? And then what kind of visa preparation would you need for the respective countries that you go through? And once you travel from in India to a Western or a European country, what kind of safety and travel and accommodation support would you need to consider given the recent change that you've seen in the lifestyle? And very importantly, are you going to get a job in the area that you're choosing? Because at the end of the day, while you go through all of that, it's that job that you secure in the country that you choose as a destination and the post-study work permit that makes it crucial to make a decision for a student. Now, what we do at INSOFI is, let me give you a glimpse of how the journey goes on. When someone starts, they have to first apply to INSOFI and they clear the entrance examination. As Dr. Murthy mentioned, all the three master's programs that he was referring to that we partner with these three schools have waived the GMAT requirement. And the reason why they waived is because we also are trying to understand and filter candidates on their aptitude and verbal reasoning through the entrance exam that we conduct. On successful completion of that and they clear the exam with a good percentage, they then be recommended to go and apply for the respective university that they are going to be shortlisted for between the 3B schools. And once they get a admission letter from the university, then we do facilitate a live, online, or an in-person HR interview with the suicide team in India online, because we want to ensure the students are not just qualified technically, but we also gauge their communication, their ability to be deployed in front of a client when they have to deal with a lot of data science projects that they need to work on. And on definitely doing well in the interview, people will receive a conditional letter and they're allowed to start their coursework at SEM1 in India. Because these are pathway programs, you do one entire semester term in India, and then you complete the entire evaluation, the exams required for that. And then you apply for visa towards the end of the first semester. Once you get that successfully, you are on your way to the university to pursue the remaining terms. And towards your end of your term, once you complete your master's successfully, and we do give you the, we do expect you to have an acceptance to the condition letter. I will mention a little more on the condition letter and when do you accept it in a moment. But towards the end of the course, when you complete your master's from the partner university we have, you don't just have an opportunity that you have to worry about because you are already hired. On the start of your program, you are given a condition letter and you withhold it yourself. Towards the end, you do well in the program and you obviously can directly join the firm and you know what is the role, you know what you're going to do. So now, one of the most important things, while Dr. Murthy mentioned about the programs and Gaurav did mention about the significance of having technology and management as a combination, because today a lot of companies have clients from different domains and many organizations started to build data science competencies as a part of the digital transformation journey. So it's very important that people have the right skill sets to work with different business teams and also work with different technology teams. And they actually start taking the transformation journey when the organization is ahead. And one of the things that I've just borrowed a quotation last year that Satyanarayana had mentioned, that everything happening in the marketing is digitized, so is in finance. And what it means, every function, every industry has a huge element that is driven by information technology. So a lot of people even today think I would do an MBA program and would do a specialization in business analytics. But what we teach is not a specialization. People spend entire semester, close to 350 hours of content on various elements of end-to-end aspects of data science, and they're applied in nature. So people spend good amounts of hands-on on technicalities before they go to the respective schools to pursue their management education. So you are bound to learn technology at a hands-on level. So your acceptance when you go and apply for jobs in the respective countries is a lot more higher than just choosing a specialization. And the curriculum is designed in such a way that we really build both the domains together, be it the business acumen that Gaurav was referring to, and the technology that you really need to take this data science opportunities ahead. We actually stitch that together as a part of the curriculum. And one of the questions I've seen in the chat box is, what kind of jobs do we get? What kind of roles can we get into, especially in data science if I do an MBA? Because data science is most commonly used term or a designation which is fairly famous for people who are technical in nature. People get into computer vision, machine learning specialists, or data engineers. But people who do an MBA or from a business background, when they look at data science as a part of their overall expertise, there are roles which involve you to talk to clients day in, day out, roles that expect you to work on a lot of dashboard development, a lot of reporting that you do to different stakeholders in the organization. And you actually are the transformation agent for the organization when you look at. And I believe there's a very interesting term people call this as in data science, where people call as data consultants or data strategists. People really are expected to work on different types of data and different large scale amounts of data. They are actually expect to have enough knowledge both on technology side. So you are not just going to speak business, or it is not just about talking to a client about what you do. It's more about what kind of solution can you build for them. And that's precisely what people are expected to be able to have as an expertise when they move into data sciences. And all of these roles are fairly paid high and are having a very strong compensation. If you look at the various opportunities of these designations in the world, they're about the top 5 most highly paid jobs, all of these coming to the picture. And a lot of freshers who start as data analyst or a business analyst, but someone who's an experienced graduate, because most of the people who apply for our programs actually have a little experience on their end. So they are they're expected to hire as data analytics managers or consultants, or they lead certain teams in analytics operations for the project that they hold. Now, job guarantee and what is the process? It's very unique, as Dr. Murthy mentioned. There's no other institution in the world that I'm at least aware of which actually gives you a job in a different country altogether once you start your master's. And it's not that easy as we say, because when we start saying we'll give you a job, it's very important that we really find the right quality of students that we have as admission in the program, and we ensure that they perform well in the program. Let's say someone did well in entrance exam, but they don't do well in the program and they probably don't clear with the right grades. We just cannot have certain students encouraged. So we've ensured that every single student who is getting an admission from the respective B school that they are applying for will get a conditional offer letter. And we clearly say that the offer letter will be valid on 2 conditions. One, they have to complete the Indian part, which is the postgraduate certificate that KKS and Sophia have jointly designed for this first semester. They have to complete that first semester successfully, and they also have to complete the entire master's successfully. Now, there are 2 different roles that are categorized, because people who do well are a lot more capable in handling certain projects and communications. So we offer students who have a grade A or higher in our program, and also at the end of the master's program, they're hired as data science managers. And people who have a grade B or higher in the PGP program in India, and then the respective university, they're hired as data analyst. So it's important that people do maintain their successful learning curve during the coursework that they go through across all the terms of the program. And once you complete your final semester in the respective school, you will be able to share your acceptance that I would be accepting this offer, and you will obviously be joining on a particular date that is jointly duly agreed by you and the entity. And these roles are offered by Suits Analytics at the time of the admission. And the way it works is, a lot of times people look at compensation. what is very important for us is to understand by the end of the program, what kind of skill sets would you be having for us to be able to deploy onto certain projects. There's some projects that are of very, very complex in nature, very, very advanced in terms of our technology adoption, maybe could be a little ahead in terms of what the industry practices are. And there's some projects which are probably a lot more dashboard driven, a lot more visualization based, or they would not need advanced technical competency. So what we've agreed is we would create a base salary for every employee or student that we'll be hiring as an employee. We create a base salary, and the first 3 to 6 months, they will be essentially going through internal projects where we gauge how good they are, how is their technical expertise. And based on that, we then be able to deploy them onto certain clients' projects. By then, we will actually be revisiting the compensation to industry standards. So the base salary for a data science manager would be 45,000 US dollars in the US and 40,000 Canadian dollars in Canada, based on the university that you're typically getting to graduate. And the base salary for a data science analyst is $35,000 in the US and 35,000 Canadian dollars in Canada. Now, as I was mentioning, once you complete the first 3 to 6 months of work on internal project and research, we then know what kind of role would you be able to play in our client project that we're already working on. And based on that, the overall market value will be considered and will be revised in terms of what would be the right compensation for your profile. But what is very important is you have a job in hand even before you travel to the respective country. And that makes you a lot more confident, a lot more secure with your expenses, because you know when you have a financial burden on your head when you're traveling to a respective country, will I get a job? Will I be hired? What kind of job will I get? Because at the end of the program, when you did so much in data science, if you're hired into sales or operations, that's something that you'll not be happy about. But if you're hired into data science roles directly and they're getting the right support, I think that's what people definitely aim for. Now, a few advantages that are extremely unique and one of its kind. One, you get a letter while you're in Canada, in India only. You don't have to worry about what happens if I go there and what is going to be the situation like, because every single condition is clearly mentioned. You are given a condition letter during your first semester. And your return on investment is obviously guaranteed. What you're going to earn is very much similar to what you're actually paying as your overall master's tuition fee for a B school. In general, a lot of B schools have much higher fees compared to engineering school. But what you actually get as an ROI is going to compensate in the next 1 year for your working. You'll be able to actually earn whatever you spent for your tuition fee in the respective universities. And this job offer is non-binding, which means, let's say you've completed, you're probably in the final semester of your master's, and let's say you probably want to apply for opportunities beyond what you already have, or probably you're willing to explore opportunities beyond, or probably you think you can earn a lot more than what is being offered at the base salary. You are free to do that. You can confirm it to Soothsayer in writing at least 3 months in advance that, hey, I would probably be willing to apply outside the entity that I'm tapped for the offer that you've given to us. I would now want to apply for elsewhere. We are free to do that. There's no job, there's no binding for that. And very importantly, what's extremely good is towards the entire coursework, all the students are expected to do is focus on the program and do well in the coursework. They don't have to worry about, okay, how do I go about? Because right from the application, as I mentioned, the entire life cycle of applying for the right financial partner, visa guidance, what should be my answer, how do I represent myself? At the same time, what kind of travel, living, and accommodation level support do I need to take care? And you anyway go along with 30, 40 students every cohort, so you know your peers even before you're going. And people have a lot of groups that they maintain over virtual and physical, so that they know whom they want to share their accommodation with, where do you want to stay. And they actually have very strong advantage of, because all these three schools have excellent, placement rate or percentage of placement or career services success they've seen. So this is precisely what we do. I may have missed out 1 or 2 points, but I'll be happy to take up any questions. Dr. Murthy and Gaurav, I'm done with my presentation. And Ms. Basu, we can probably now consider looking at the Q&A section.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the exhaustive presentations. I would like to first narrow down a little bit and be more specific. Like, if you could just explain the timeline, with this being a pandemic year, and I mean, the last 3 years, everybody has suffered. And so if somebody wants to apply the next academic session, which will be 22-23, so if you could just give an idea of the timeline, that when should they start the process, by when they should apply, how much time it takes, so that it can be a repetitive model for the forthcoming years as well. So if you keep into consideration 22-23
certainly
session.
Thank you so much. So the way it works is like any other US and other universities in different parts of the world, you have fall and spring intake. Fall is September and spring is January in every year. So this year, the next immediate cohort that we are accepting applications right now is for fall 2022. So students travel to September to the respective country to pursue their second semester, unlike others who go for a first semester. Because you do entire first semester in India, you start your coursework in the end of February. That's when the cohort starts, and people have 1 month, close to a month and above, to apply and finish their application process. The end of February is when the semester one starts in India for these graduates, and they'll complete their coursework by mid of July, and then they parallel apply for their visa. And in the mid of August, they plan to travel to the respective college, and September is when they start. Right after that, if someone is willing to apply at a later point, then they can travel in January as well.
Right. So, Mr. Gaurav, if somebody wants to know that post this course completion, will Soothsayer Analytics be the only recruiter, or can the candidate also kind of independently apply to job opportunities with other companies?
Sure. Thanks, Ms. Basu. So the way the program is structured is, we are giving a job surety to the candidates. That does not mean they cannot apply elsewhere, right? So Soothsayer can be like, obviously we don't want to be called as a backup. We will always consider the cream student that come to us, but it is not a binding for any student. Every university or the school that is mentioned today, we are talking about Walsh, Rennie, and Carleton. They have their own network of employers who come for the campus interviews, who hire candidates from those schools. So students are free to apply anywhere it's needed. There is no binding, there is no bond that if they enroll for this course, they have to work for Soothsayer. No, that is not the case. So I hope I answered the question.
Right.
Yeah, just to add there,
Yes.
however, after working on AI ML together with industry for more than a decade, we believe we provide one of the finest working environment and projects for our students. So yes, there will be some job that will pay them more so they can go, but we believe we are very much up there in terms of the environment and work.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Murthy, maybe you could take this question as well. This one, Mr. Shreyans Sharma, who says that he's a working professional with 5 years of experience in data science and also has a PGDM in solutions and consulting. So he wants to know about the eligibility criteria and duration for the course in collaboration with Walsh School in specific, and will INSOFI aid with the admission process, of course, which you have said it could be repetitive. And also, since this is a non-STEM course, will I be eligible for OPT, opt visa post-course completion?
Very good. So let me answer the last question. I don't know why you assumed it's non-STEM. It is a STEM course. It is a technology MBA, so you will get 3 years of OPT. That's a wonderful additional thing. Good question. Now, what are the requirements I mentioned? Your work experience will definitely be considered positive, but the base requirement you need is a 4-year degree if you want to study in USA and Canada. So you have to have your transcripts of your undergraduate degree. I don't know what your undergraduate degree is. If it's a 3-year program, that you need a 1-year certificate or something for going to any USA and Canada university, and that's applicable to Walsh and Carleton also. Did I answer the question?
I hope so. Otherwise, he'll write to us again.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and I think there are also some freshers like who don't know much about. So they are, at the cost of being a little repetitive, if you could just run through some points. Like they want to know what exactly is data science, and students starting from class 11th and 12th who are also participants, they also want to know like which is the best way to go about it in high school. Which stream should we first study, and then how do we go further?
Okay, so data science can be studied by anyone with any science background. So I encourage, for those who are in 11th and 12th, if you are in a science stream, do a BE in any engineering discipline, or BSc in math, statistics, physics, chemistry, computer science, BBA. Any of them will get you eligible to do data science. Now, for freshers, if you have a 3-year degree. I think I mentioned that 3-year degree in commerce, management, computer science, physics, science, statistics, mathematics. You are eligible to apply to Rennes School of Business. Europe is okay with 3-year background, 3-year degrees. If you want in USA and Canada, you need a 4-year degree program. So immediately those who become eligible are any engineering degree graduate or any PG, MSc guy would have 3+2 years in India, or MCA 3+3. Anyone who has 4 or more years of education at undergrad, graduate level are eligible. If you don't have a 4-year degree, you only have 3-year, you have to do a 1-year diploma program in one of the universities to add that 4th year. That's a requirement by USA and Canada governments, right? So that is what. What is data science? Just open Google and type data science or machine learning or artificial intelligence. It'll be difficult to not go through a day in nowadays without getting an article about machine learning, AI, or data science. Okay. It is something that's shaking the world. It is changing the way businesses are working, personal things are working, gadgets are working. Data science are smart thinking machines. Okay, building machines as in any machine for that matter. Your washing machine will talk to your mobile phone, learns when to turn itself on, and cleans and stops when it has to stop. And you don't even get involved in this, right? So those are the robots, self-driving cars, your Siris, your audio recognizing software, your recommendation engines on Amazon, Netflix. Anything where there is a smart decision making is there, it's powered by machine learning and AI and data science. Every industry now wants it. By studying this program, this MBA, you are now you are into that industry. Now, what is interesting, it is the highest paying profession in the world in any country at this point. Highest paying profession. For the past 3 years, LinkedIn has been conducting surveys and announcing. Past 3 years, it has been the case. And I think it will be the case for the next 3 to 5 years anyway. So that is what it is.
Right.
Okay.
So Shreya Singh wants to know, does a good academic record of the previous, our academic years hold importance, or clearing that entrance exam conducted by INSOFI is sufficient?
Oh, well, entrance exam, by the way, conducted by INSOFI and Soothsayer, because that is dependent on the, conditional offer comes from there. Yes, of course, your academic record is good. I mean, see, don't complicate it. It's like anything in India, right? Do you get a better admission if you have a better academic record? Of course, you get a better admission if you have a better academic record. Will you get a better job? Of course, you'll get a better job. So it is not magic we are doing. It is, we take good people, we conduct examination, select good people, they study in good colleges, get a great degree, and get a great job. There's nothing complicated about it. Now, the only thing that you need to understand is you will get a US or a Canada or a France degree that is equivalent of STEM. So you get work permits in those countries. So you will actually be able to work there. That is the only difference. But good students are what we are looking for. They write and pass the entrance exam, which is tough. You pass that, and then you will get an admission from the university, a conditional offer letter from the industry. So you study in peace that you have a job in hand. Only if you do well, which obviously as a student that is expected of you, you have to pass the examination. If you pass with a B grade, if you get a C grade, you anyway don't pass. If you get a B grade, you get a lower salary. If you get an A grade, you get a higher salary. So you are motivated to get a grade. And then once you get an A grade, because you have a working visa, you get a job.
Mr. So maybe could I take this one with somebody says that he has had a career gap of 3 years after completing a professional course of 2 years. So is there a time age factor involved in this, or this break?
Generally, most of the B schools that the applicants that we've seen in the last few years, people have a lot of experience, people have breaks. It's not about having a break in the career, it's about how good they are and what they're learning. So if and what we do at InSophie is we first spend good amount of time understanding the applicant's background. If someone is interested, we do understand why was there a gap, what's the reason, and what was the job before, and what are the kind of jobs they're applying, what is the education background, how good are the academics. So there are a lot of factors that we consider before we come to a conclusion whether he or she can apply to a program and will have a good career. But just answer now that we're talking about it, I don't think having a gap in their experience is not going to make much difference. As long as they're good at what they're doing in terms of technology and advancements, I think companies are willing to hire. A lot of startups today have the opportunity to hire graduates even with a different set of background. We've seen people from engineering, or people from technical backgrounds also getting into data science and doing extremely well. So I don't think that should be a constraint.
Okay, Rahul KP wants to know if you could give a fair idea of what would be the total expenses incurred if one has to apply and pursue this course, starting from the beginning, from the course fee alone and then going on. He wants a rough idea of how much expenses.
Okay, I will take this question, so I may simplify it. There are 3 different programs, Rahul. One in France, one in USA, and one in Canada. So obviously the cost of the 3 programs will be different. And because it's a cost, I encourage you to go to the websites, insophie.edu.in. All programs, the entire fee structure is very clearly spelled out, and the program fee will be in those currencies. I will give you an estimation, but in those currencies. If you go to France, you have to pay in euros. If you go to USA, you have to pay in US dollars. If you go in Canada, Canadian dollars. On the website, you see that currency, the actual fee, and approximate conversion to Indian rupees also. But roughly, here is what I suggest. Your entire expense, if you're going to France for a master's, will be around 18 to 20 lakhs. I'm not talking about tuition fee. I'm talking about your entire expense. If you're going to USA, Walsh College, around 30 lakhs. If you're going to Canada, around 36 to 37 lakhs. Now, again, I encourage you to go to the website, look at the exact fee, and you pay the fee to that university or your house and accommodation. Of course, you pay to the landlords, whoever it is, right? And you get 100% education loan for all these 3 programs. And as I said, we work with financial partners. Normally, international education, unless they're super rich, they don't sponsor themselves. They go for a bank loan because the loans are very attractive. They give a moratorium throughout your program, and post that you get 10 years or so to pay your loan. So it becomes a lot more easier if you take a loan, and we help you with that process. But that is roughly the financial requirements that you have.
Can somebody pursuing pure science, there are a lot of biology students, they want to know whether they can pursue data science. How is AI helping in medicine? So
understand one thing, what you are pursuing is an MBA, right? MBA with business analytics. Now ask yourself the same question, can I do an MBA? Anyone can do an MBA. If you want to get into a managerial role, you can do an MBA. And here you do MBA that is powered by data science, but the degree you get is MBA, right? So that answers your question on whether a biology or I don't want to get into now. The problem with this question is, then I will see 58 different questions. I am an electronics and communications engineer. I am a structural civil engineer. No, the answer is same. You are doing an MBA. Right? So it's independent of the domain. Now, what applications will have? Again, I want to tread it very carefully because that will again lead to, in telecommunications, what is the application? In civil engineering, idea is very simple. Where do MBAs work in a civil industry, telecommunications industry, biology industry, pharma industry? Where do they work? You work in the same place. It is just that you'll be paid more because you can use AI and machine learning to do your job better, right? It is an MBA degree. You are preparing yourself to be a manager. Managers are needed in any kind of industry, any company, or in government, everywhere, right? And yes, you are a different manager because you not only know your management, but you also know AI and machine learning. right?
Mr. Gaurav, there are a lot of questions about work experience, and people with 5 years experience to 25 years of experience want to know, like, what are the employment opportunities and earnings going to be like in the countries that have been mentioned?
Sure.
Gaurav, I know this might sound a bit rude, but I prefer if you don't give a detailed answer. If someone has 5 to 25 years of experience,
No,
and
I'm
if
saying the
someone
range.
wants to study,
I'm talking about the range. People with 5
uh-huh,
years experience to people with
exactly.
25 years of experience. They are asking a similar
What
question.
I'm saying is, guys, don't ask Gaurav. Just spend 35 seconds on Google on what are the salaries for AI machine learning globally. Right? That is what I mean. Please go
Yeah.
ahead, Gaurav. I
No,
don't
no,
want to hijack.
no, that is good. So all I can say is the first question what Dr. Murthy also answered. I'll just add one line there or one point there. Whether they are from any stream does not matter. MBA, as I also said, and Dr. Murthy repeated about that you can have a data scientist who will have computer science degree, math degree, or a statistic degree. Everybody else, like not necessarily everybody would love to do programming. Even they are from computer science background, it does not mean they would love to do the programming. So industry, a data science industry or AI industry need not just data scientists and data engineers. You need translators, someone who understands the business. Let us say if you're from biology, or let us say you're from civil, if you understand your domain, if you have done a good job in your bachelor's degree, knowing about biology or knowing about civil or telecom or anything else, that means you have got a very good foundation of your domain, right? And then on top of it, if you have your data science education, and that becomes an icing on the cake. So that's very rare to find data scientists who have experience in domain, or domain guys who have knowledge about the data science. So that, I think that answers that question. Like the salary point of view, like every country, we are talking about 3 different countries here, there are job prospects. But if you are good, I will not say like 5-year-old experienced guys versus freshers versus 20-year-old experienced person will get $50,000 or $100,000. If you're bright, even 1-year experienced guy makes $100,000 US dollars in US. So there is no criteria that if you have 20 years, then you will make $200,000. No, absolutely wrong. If you are having 20 years of experience, you should support your experience and your knowledge to get that $200,000. Otherwise, you are worth not even $30,000, to be very honest with you. So I think there is no comparison that, okay, if it is 5-year experience, then it will get this much, and 20 years will get that
Gaurav,
much.
I think Gaurav
Just as an
is
example.
Sorry, yeah. So, Mr. Som, maybe you could answer this. Like Avinash and a lot of other participants are asking, what is the syllabus for the entrance exam? Like when Infosys has the entrance exam, what are the topics to deal with, and how should we prepare for that exam?
Yep. So most of these, there is a sample syllabus and sample set of topics that we already have in the portal. We share with all the prospective applicants. But now that we're talking, it will be basically on calculus, a bit of linear equations, a bit of math at a 10+2 level. And we look at aptitude as well, and a bit of verbal reasoning, how good their communications are. We try to gauge them. So it'll be more or less like how a GRE or a GMAT exam is conducted, but we have a little component of mathematics as a part of it, and we've not included any programming questions for these set of applications. There's some other MS programs that we have. There's a lot of programming emphasis, but these programs, we don't expect any programming as a part of the entrance criteria.
Right.
And the first semester that we teach for all these 3 courses is currently being taught online, and these are live, and none of these are pre-recorded or self-paced. These are live and interactive, so people will be able to learn during their day. And even the pandemic times, people don't have to relocate anywhere until the next few months while they complete the coursework. But these are taught online. Because I've seen a question, I just thought I should probably respond to it.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that, because there were questions on online classes. There's one little different and interesting question. That's why I want to read it out. There's this gentleman, Alamjit Singh, who has a degree in mechanical engineering, but he's currently working in the state police. I do not know which state, in the cyber crime wing. And he says he wants to enhance his knowledge in applied data science, but he does not want to go for the job offers. So can he apply for this course?
as so like may I
Okay.
take this?
He
So,
basically wants to help the government further. That's what he writes.
So he doesn't have to
my,
go for a mark. Okay, please go ahead, Dr. Murthy. I'll wait.
yeah. So if you, this webinar is designed for people who want to go abroad. From what I heard, he is not interested in going abroad at all. Is my
No. He wants to pursue the course, but he doesn't want to take up a job.
And he wants to come back, or he wants to be there?
Yeah.
No, I think he's
He wants to
looking
come
for a
back and
program
help the government further.
within India, Dr. Murthy.
So there are, unless you want a master's degree from US, if you want to learn, there are, even at INSOFI, there are enough opportunities where you can learn from India, and the investment is lower. You will get an Indian degree and you can help the government. So please contact us. We can help you with what programs we have. If this program is suitable, it makes sense with that kind of investment, right? 20, 30, 40 lakhs, as I mentioned. With that kind of investment, it makes sense if you work there, whether with us or with someone else, for at least 2 to 3 years, so that you will get your investment back, you will get your this thing. You don't have to accept our job, as explained very clearly. You can find a new job. But if you're not at all interested in working in that country, I seriously want you to think about, you get the same knowledge with an Indian degree, and which we have a similar engagement model with prestigious Indian universities at lower cost. You can learn the skills and apply it to help your government. So contact us for the Indian programs that we have. That will probably help you take a better decision on what to do. This programs, however, yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
We already have a student from Hyderabad cybercrime branch who then relocated to Kerala. He was one of your students, Dr. Murthy. He actually had a similar profile. He did a short-term coursework at INSOFI. So this is, again, as Dr. Murthy mentioned, this is probably specific towards masters and careers outside India for people. But anyone who's in India, there's some other set of courses which our team can certainly reach out and clarify to you.
Right. Somebody is expressing a fear that this being the pandemic years and the situation is such that when nations are kind of moving back from globalization to procuring resources from within their own country. So in such a scenario, how do we foresee this particular course and program? I mean, how risky is it?
Gaurav and I can respond to this. Guys, by the way, I am currently, in the last week, traveled to US from India. I'm taking this call from Iowa City in USA. And yes, travel has become slightly more cumbersome, but all universities in USA and Canada are open now. France is open. And last year, which was peak of second wave, India was going through a lot of issues. Probably around 50 students went from INSOFI to these countries to study. We have to learn to live with pandemic, which we are, right? So universities will continue to function, degrees will continue to be offered, jobs will be created. In fact, more of them are getting created. So it will not be a case where you say every country people should only stay in that country, there won't be travel in between. No, it won't happen. We just figure out how to travel despite pandemic. Yes, you have to go through that extra mask while you're traveling, but that's what it is. That's what life is, right? So universities play a very important role in all these countries in ensuring creating global professionals who can work globally, be located anywhere, and that won't change. Restrictions may change.
So I'll take one final question where somebody is writing that data science, of course, sounds as one of the very exciting careers of future. But how do I know that if it suits me?
Right. Good. So that's a good question. I'm smiling because it's a tricky question. How do you, anyone else can tell you, how do you know? That's sort of a interesting thing. It is, but at a broad level, if you are a science or a math graduate or a commerce graduate, I think you can pursue data science. Data science itself has multiple flavors, as Gaurav touched upon. Data science can be done by hardcore computer programmers. Data science can be done by engineers who are okay with programming but don't like programming like that. And data science can be pursued by managers. So see, the what Satya Nadella's quote, if you think about it, he's a knowledgeable man. So let's agree to the fact that he knows what he's talking about. He says every function in the organization will require data science. So the question is not whether data science suits to me or not. If you want to exist as a successful professional, figure out what flavor of data science works for you and pursue that. If you are in any technical technology company, of course, if you get into a completely services kind of a thing, where you do adult education, literacy movement, etc., you do say, or arts, Carnatic music, that's a different issue. But if you are in a business technical kind of a company, you cannot succeed without data science knowledge. So the challenge is not whether it will suit you or not. Challenge is for you to figure out which flavor will suit you. Okay, you better find it out. Quicker the better. Will you be a top-notch programmer in data scientist? Will you be a mathematical algorithmic guy in data scientist? Will you be an analyst of data science? Will you be a manager of data science? Will you be so that understand? If you like management, probably management flavor is better. If you like coding, probably coding flavor is better. If you like engineering and algorithm flavor is better. So that is something that you have to do soul searching.
So one final value addition answer we need is there a place for students who pursue humanities or liberal arts? Because even liberal arts seems to be, in vogue these days. So do students pursuing these streams have a place in data science?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. One of our partner universities, REN, said, in our college, 50% of the students do our program come from liberal arts, humanities background. The other 50 come from India. So the problem, you can do it technically, theoretically, but the humanities education in India is so non-math. Engineering education is so non-humanity. Unfortunately, our bachelor's programs in humanities don't talk anything about math. You forget everything that you learn. Our bachelor's programs in engineering, you forget everything about humanities. So that switch will be a lot more difficult. I don't want to sell a program. I want to guide you to take the right thing. If as a humanities student, if you forgot every math that you did up to 10th and haven't touched a computer for anything, you will have really tough time going through these courses. So think about it, whether you have the right flavor or not. It is not the background, that academic background, that decides whether you'll be successful or not. It is the knowledge base. If you don't know any math, any programming, even at a basic level, you have to really work hard. So think about it that way.
Mr. Gaurav, you wanted to add something? I thought you raised your hand.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. There was one thing, a lot of people are asking question about what is data science, whether it is useful for me or not, and all that. I shared one link that is a lecture by Dr. Murthy. It tells about what is data science. So a lot of the questions, whether it is for me, whether it is not for me, what I can do, what I can learn, it is very basic, no math, hour and a half or something duration. They can just see it and get a sense of what it is. So thank you, Dr.
Thank you so much. So I think it's time for us to wind up, and I'm certain that all those who tuned in for today's sessions, there have been a lot of takeaways for them, and they must also be having a clearer picture of how to find and avail of the opportunities, especially during this pandemic times. So I wish all the aspirants the best of luck, and a heartfelt thank you to all our panelists for sparing their time today evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.